Hello, I'm Amanda Rayfuse, and this is Spark, the Upper Valley's new arts and culture program here on CATV. We're hoping to spark your interest in the arts by hosting one-on-one conversations that explore the depth and variety of culture here in the Upper Valley, to the amazing people who create and those who administrate, the artists who educate and the generous patrons who donate, the audiences, students, and consumers who enjoy and participate. Welcome to Spark. Hello and welcome to season 2 of Spark, the Upper Valley's arts and culture television show here on CATV. We are back with a whole slew of extraordinary artists, arts leaders, educators to spark your interest in the cultural life of our community and how these extraordinary people make our region the best place to live, work, and play. A couple of new things about this season. If you'd like to listen to these conversations instead of watching them, we're excited to now offer Spark as a podcast. And if there's a topic you'd want to learn about or a comment to share, or if there's a guest you'd love to see on Spark, you can shoot us an email. I will give you all of those details at the end of today's episode. But for now, I am absolutely thrilled to welcome to Spark Ian Gollub. He is the band director at Hanover High School, and we're going to talk about what that means and all of the varieties of ways that he teaches music there. But first, a little bit about Ian. He's a native son of the Upper Valley. He was raised in Norwich. He graduated from Hanover High School, attended the Berklee School of Music, and has taught at high schools across New England, in New York, Massachusetts, across the whole East Coast, actually, Florida, Rhode Island, before returning to his roots and Hanover High School. Ian says having the opportunity to play music all day, all night, every day is not a job, it's a gift. And I think that that enthusiasm and passion for his art is definitely translated to his students. His personal mission is to create a safe space and the means and the tools for young people to learn, create, and promote their music. Having seen Ian in action, bringing his enthusiasm, his skill, and energy to his students, I am just delighted to talk to him about why music is necessary in young people's lives and what he's excited about this year at Hanover High School. Ian, welcome to Spark.
Well, thank you for having me. This is wonderful. I'm very excited.
Well, I should say too that I got to work a little bit with Ian on a show that I directed at Hanover High School a couple of years ago before the pandemic. It feels like a lifetime ago, where we had a rock band on stage, and it was so fun. It was like the most fun that I've had directing a show ever.
Shakespeare and rock and roll, right? Shakespeare and rock and roll.
You can't go wrong. You just can't. So before we get started, can you just list all of the different bands and the different ways that you are teaching music at Hanover High School right now?
Sure. My job at the high school is band, jazz band, wind ensemble. I teach guitar class, and we have a pop and rock and roll ensemble as well.
And you are a saxophone player as well as a guitarist. Is that true? Are there other instruments?
I'm a jazz saxophonist and piano player. And I've taught guitar for a few years, and it's been really fun to put that into action and see that program evolve. More and more students are interested in playing, and I think we have 12 students right now in my class, and we're playing Bach minuets, and then we're playing AC/DC right after it. And it's a lot of fun. Never a dull moment.
And there's so many opportunities for students. I mean, the high school program is amazing, and it's such an incredible resource. And then do you ever do partnerships with some of the art centers and music centers in the Upper Valley, some of the other places that students get to go and play their faces off?
So it's interesting you say that, because I had a meeting this week with Brian Messier, the wind ensemble director at Dartmouth, and we'd love to start collaboration. And my arrival at the high school kind of coincided with the rollout of the pandemic happening and starting to make those relationships, and then never being able to have anything become of that yet is the key word. So, I'm not going anywhere for a while, and there's so much going on with the different programs in the Upper Valley that I know we'll be playing. We've played on the public radio a few times, and we were part of the Jazz Combo. We did a Northern Stage soundtrack radio show last winter, which was a blast. So something very different. But I look now that the regulations and rules are changing, and we're able to make more music. I anticipate that we'll be branching out and playing all over. So
So great. And providing the students with the opportunity, there's so many different opportunities to express themselves and to learn about other organizations and other ways of being out in the community and bringing art into the community is so great.
Yeah.
But to go backwards just a little bit,
Sure.
what first brought you to music? What was your initial draw to saxophone and to piano and guitar?
My father bought my mother a piano when I was 5 years old, and I listened to her play her lessons and went in and I was able to play it. And when everybody else got excited, I got even more excited and just started playing more and more. And my parents said, "Why don't you take some lessons?" And I did. And I think I must have been 6 or 7 years old. And I was listening to some music. I said, "Dad, I really like this." And it was Tower of Power, a funk horn band from the West Coast. And he said, "Well, let's go to a concert." And I think I saw my 95th show last month with my children. Here we are 30 years later, but it was having supportive parents and folks around me that said, "You like it? You're having fun? Let's try it." My father is a drummer. He,
Oh,
he didn't end up being a professional in terms of for work, but he still plays gigs all over for fun.
cool.
So him having me in with the music scene was great help.
Have you ever played with your father, like in a
Oh
band?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
When I was 10, he started bringing me around. That's when I got my first saxophone at age 10. He said, "Come on in." So I think I played Mustang Sally and the Wanderer with his country group he had in 1990. And then he had this band, the Reactors, for many years. And they let me come. I'd sneak in the back door of Cactus Jack's or wherever they were playing and I play my songs and they kick me back out. And it was a great experience, just fun to play with other people, that
Yeah.
feeling. Yeah. And so I got a taste of it at a young age.
And especially to play with your dad. I mean, that is so cool to,
Super
yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So what about teaching though? I mean, because you could have gone down the road of the professional musician. What is it that drew you to teaching music?
Well, my journey was a little strange. I said on graduation day in 1998, June 1998, I said, "I'm never coming back to this Hanover high school. I'm leaving saxophone in tow, and I'm going to be on the Tonight Show band, or I'm going to play in Earth, Wind, and Fire. I'm going to New York." And I went to the New School for a few years, and I did their jazz program, real small jazz program. And when I got there, I realized, oh yeah, there's a lot more saxophonists around down here. And there's a lot going on, and this takes a lot different kind of work than I ever imagined.
Hmm.
And I took a little time off, reassessed, reevaluated, and I actually taught as an ed assistant in Fairleigh at the Samuel Morey Elementary School in a
Oh,
second grade classroom. And I was there for a year, and it wasn't music. I played some songs with them, but I was just the general ed assistant. And I said halfway through, I said, "This is really all right.
yeah.
I'm having fun with this. Music too. Maybe I ought to explore that." I didn't make the decision right away. I went back to New York, and it was 20 years ago, actually, this September, and it was our second week of school, ready to go new school again, and 9/11 happened.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And they shut down school down there. I said, "You know what? Maybe this is a sign that this is not for me down here. Maybe it's time to make the big change." And I called Berkeley, where I had already applied, and I said, "You still got my name and number down there?" They said, "Okay." And I started the following spring, and I've never looked back, because in studying the education, I'm still required to take all those same performance credits and all the same experiences. There's differences, but I didn't feel like I was stuck in teacher zone over here and the cool players were over here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I could do it all, and that's a special part about that school too, that you can do that. But that's where it really began for me, and being around good educators my whole life. My mother's an educator,
Mm.
and seeing what they do at Berkeley, producing these great music teachers, I said, I got to do it. I got to do it. So I played, and from there, I just branched out and started teaching right away.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it's interesting too, because it is so smart of Berkeley, because even, musicians that are gigging and touring and doing that as their kind of primary thing, they still are teaching residencies in schools. They're still doing workshops. They're still teaching lessons. Like everyone everyone's still a teaching artist in some form or another, it feels like.
Absolutely. My last year there, I was asked to audition for a general business band, a wedding function band, and it was with professors. And I got in the band, and I always felt like the low man on the totem pole. But I was in this band, and I learned maybe just as much from playing with these cats for the year and a half that I did than 3 years of college. I don't know.
Yeah.
But what an experience to play with your professors. And
God. Yeah.
any circumstance, whether it's a wedding or not, it was pretty cool. But,
Yeah.
so
It's also
the
the
teaching
pickle.
artist. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say it's also the pickle jar. Like all of the things that you learned from them while performing is probably things you wouldn't have understood if you hadn't had the class time. Like you
Yeah,
have to have somebody hitting the bottom of the pickle jar so you can open it.
absolutely.
So, and you play out every now and then, don't you?
I do. When we moved back to Vermont here, where I said I'd never come back.
You didn't know how good you had it till you left. That's what it takes.
That's right. And I was able to come back at the perfect time and start my family here and raise them with great schools. So it worked out. But when I got back, I was able to step right back into a band that I was playing in locally, the Fry Daddy band with Carlos Acasio. And I was playing with them for a few years, and any other jazz gigs I could take with some local people here. And I even go back down to Boston and play some wedding stuff there. But then fizzled, of course, with the pandemic stuff. Right. It really hasn't picked up again on any sort of regular basis yet, but that's okay. I've learned, I'm so glad you talk about the teaching artist stuff. It's just being able to continue to perform is so important to me. It drives me in the classroom. It helps me relate to my students. It brings me there the way I feel I should be. It doesn't have to be that way for everybody, but it keeps this engine going, right?
I get that. Yeah.
And I get to invite my students to come play at the gigs, and I can talk about it in a different way. And I really like that. But it's okay that I've had this break, because I can kind of look back and see what I've accomplished in terms of the performances, and now say what I really want to be playing when I go play. Do I need to come home from playing till 2:00 in the morning a bar gig anymore on a Saturday night? I don't think I do. And since my income comes from being an educator, it's only needs to be for fun when I go out and play the gigs I want to play right now.
Yes. Yeah. So you get to do it for the joy of it instead of for the compensation. Yeah.
I'm just so fascinated when you talk about the teaching artist. I know I've written a couple papers too about this, because I feel like either playing in the classroom with students and demoing or being part of the ensemble with students in that way is just as important as continuing your own performance if possible. I've been with some teachers who I never heard play ever in their instrument. And that, to me, they didn't have to. That's the way they did their thing. But I wonder how it would have been different if they were playing with me or with the group, or said, hey, I have this, come watch me play. Come hear us play. And that always was interesting to me to think about that. Does it make a difference? Is that important or not? And I've come to decide there is something different about that if you're able to continue to perform the same way and continue your own art, producing your own art, for sure.
Yeah, it also gives you street cred, right? Like the kids go, well, he knows what he's talking about because I saw him do it. There's a credibility that's associated with that, and it's interesting because the teaching artist model does go both ways. There are teachers who are also artists like you, and then there are artists who are not everybody's 50-50. It could be 80-20 or whatever. But I think you're right that I'm the same. I love teaching because for me it helps me with my technique to have to explain it. I get better as a performer when I have to teach, or when I get to teach or direct. And especially with young people, because it's all so new to them. There's no shortcuts in how you have to explain things. Do you find that's true?
I think I become a stronger player every day because I'm teaching in the classroom, and I might not be playing every day in the classroom, but I do play. I'm becoming a better musician. I say, wait, how did I know that? And I'm looking at it a different way so I can communicate something to my student. And I say,
Yeah.
hey, this is wonderful. And even it doesn't have to be just the high school students either. I've taught the elementary and middle school, so you're communicating in a different way. You're demonstrating in a different way, and even those days, like, wow, I didn't look at it or consider this way. It's been a fun ride for me, Amanda, that I get to do this, and I often joke with my students. I say, I get to go out on a Friday night after making music all day long, and then I can play music with my buddies on a Friday night. How many math teachers do you know go home and call their buddies and say, let's do long division together, right? Let's get together. So, and no offense to the math teachers out there, but it's a
I get you. Same thing, no accountant is going home, hopefully, going out to a bar and being like, what I'd really like to do is run your numbers.
yeah, yeah. I know. I'm very lucky, and I just have such a great crew of kids, over there. And this year, because of the changes and the slow pullback of the guidelines, and we're able to play a little bit longer together and play a little bit closer. Everybody's a little happier. It feels more comfortable and calm, and you can hear that in their playing. You can hear that in the musical conversations that they're making, and I've got quite a few kids that are just really into this. That's making it exciting for the other kids when they see it too.
Yeah, you've got some kids that are going on to study music in college, I know,
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
really, but aside from those that kind of are on that track, what do you think what are the most important things that music brings into a young person's life? Learning an instrument particularly.
Yeah. There's so many different things they're gonna learn, but to me, is if they can find some joy in any way from making a little bit of sound. The face a 10-year-old makes when they honk and squeak a saxophone that first time, like, yeah, I did it. That could be their whole career right there, and it would make me happy if it made them happy.
Yeah.
Just finding some joy, and knowing too. I would like to remind my students that you are unique, that you get to do this, because not everybody in the world knows how to play a clarinet. Not everybody in the world knows how to do this. I like to remind them that this is a skill. You might hate the flute today because you're struggling with it, but go somewhere with 50 people and ask who else plays the flute. You're probably going to be the only one. This is a special thing that you're doing. You're special. So
Yes, yes. Yeah, as somebody who has zero ability with musical instruments, I completely appreciate when somebody is able to pull out a flute or a guitar, or those polymaths like you that are able to take the saxophone and the guitar and the piano and play any. I just think it's such a gift, to bring, to your family, and it's just as, yeah, to acknowledge that talent and to acknowledge that ability that you have, and even if you don't do it as your life work, you have it in your pocket. You've got that.
yeah, it's fun in the guitar class to tell the kids about when they go to college and
Yeah.
bring a guitar. You're gonna be the cool kid even if you can play 2 songs.
Instantly. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm sure Hanover Strings and Blue Mountain Guitar are getting some extra business because they're all real excited about buying their own after school.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's awesome. It's so awesome. So, what are you most excited about in this year? Like you said, last year was so extraordinary, and really, you guys, I'm so impressed with what you were able to accomplish, even as we were being told over and over, like no musical instruments, no breathing on each other, no singing on each other. And yet you all at the music department at Hanover High School really persevered and made sure that kids still had access to the arts, just as the athletes had access to
Right.
basketball courts and football fields and swimming pools. And now as you mentioned, things are starting to come back together. What are you most excited about for this year, and what did you learn from that time of isolation last year?
That it is totally fine to make music together and create something beautiful, but it's a whole different experience when you have an audience.
Oh,
And we can't wait to have one.
yeah,
We can't wait to have one. We were very lucky to still be able to play and record and participate in some competitions, which they did great, second place against other bands. I'm so proud of them. But we didn't have an audience. I
yeah,
don't think it would have sounded the same. I think it would have been even better, of course, with that energy in the room. The jazz combo, the last day of school, was able to play on the green in Norwich, or that last weekend on a Sunday on the green in Norwich. There must have been 150 people all spread out on the green, and we
yeah.
played for an hour and a half to the first live audience in a year and a half. And it was awesome. We are counting down the days to get to play for an audience now.
Yeah.
And it's going to make a huge difference. I'm very, very excited.
Oh,
So,
and people are so stoked to get back together and to, and to be an audience, not just for the students to
yeah.
perform, but to be a part of experiencing something together and sharing that experience. We've missed it so much.
Yeah, and it's no different for all our sports teams. I'm
Yeah.
so grateful they have this, and we're going to feel the same way in the stands.
Yeah. 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 That's so great. When you are not at work or teaching, what do you do to bring art and culture and music into your life?
We like to go see some live music whenever we can.
Right.
And we do some singing and playing at our house all the time. My wife is an unbelievable musician herself. We met in
Oh,
a band in Florida. She's a vocalist, singing the national anthem at major sporting events. She's incredible, incredible, and she sings all the time with our kiddos. And now they're playing some piano, and we're having fun, and that's what we do at home. But trying to get out and explore more. Their interest just started to peak at home again with the pandemic, right? So
yeah.
now we're raring to go and just get a taste of everything. I got to take them to see the Tower of Power 30
Yeah,
years after my first show, which is just mind blowing. Yeah.
and this was your 95th time seeing them? Is that what you said?
I'm a little nuts about them. I played in the Berkeley Tower of Power ensemble. I've had dinner and taken lessons with a couple of the players. It's just
Wow.
one of those things that's stuck.
Yeah, yeah. See, and again, there's a teaching artist. Tower of Power teaches lessons. That's amazing.
Right.
We'll have to link to some of their music if we can
Right.
in the
Yeah.
YouTube link because people need to hear them. They're amazing.
Right.
So you've got two young children, right?
Yep.
And what are you? So you said your wife is starting to, and you both, I assume, starting to play
She's
music.
always singing to them, and we have
Yeah.
instruments all over the house, but we're doing more and more and trying to do it as a family. I have a real book up on the piano, and let's play this song. And the computer, you can find changes to any song in the whole wide world in about 10 seconds. So
Yeah.
try this song, and I'll just play on the keys, whatever we can, and try to sing it, and I have fun.
That's so great. So introducing, like you said, as it influenced you growing up, just having music around you and having people that were very supportive of that.
And absolutely no pressure for them to do or play anything
Right,
they want to. Yeah.
right, 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 right.
It's got to click for them. It's got to click for them.
Yeah. So what would you recommend, or for maybe more for parents or high school students or just people in general, to bring a little bit more music into their lives? What do you recommend
You
them?
have the opportunity to go hear things out, and it's great. The live performance things, or even if it's a street festival. I went to the Lebanon Green from Macaroni Fest, and there were my students on stage playing with the Tux Rock Dojo, just jamming out, and it was fantastic. And there's music everywhere. The Upper Valley couldn't be a better place to find this stuff, and it's coming back. It's all coming back. The music and art, it's plentiful here.
Yeah, aren't we
So
lucky?
my recommendation would be go try it all. The Hopkins Center brings in so many different diverse groups from all over the world, different sorts of music, different musicians, and just have that. And then Northern Stage, and not many communities across the country have what we have here. We're very fortunate.
We are. And what about, how can we come see your students perform, or when do you think that's going to be possible?
So that's a very good question, and I wish I had an actual answer for you. We know that we'll be performing live and in the flesh and with an audience, but I don't know if that means our students get to bring two students. I don't know whether that just says the door is open. I don't know that yet, Amanda, and I can certainly report back. I know at the musical last spring, there was a certain number of tickets they had and everything spread out. So I'm not sure if those will be the same conditions, but we'll see. We'll see.
But I will say that I really do encourage people to go, you know, even if you don't have kids in the high school band or in the high school theater, to like the product that you guys are putting out into the world is really extraordinary.
Thank you.
Just in terms of artistry. So go. I don't know if Hanover High has like an arts section, just like if I would go to watch a football game or watch a basketball game.
We always in the past would be putting putting little ads in the paper, and then we put them out on the listserv, but because we didn't have any live performances in such a long time, so we'll certainly be doing that again if it's open to the public.
That's good. Really encourage people to do that, because like you said, these students are really talented, and they're super fun to watch.
Yes.
So my last question for you is, you know, if I were to start an instrument right now, what is one simple exercise or activity that that I might do to bring a little bit more music into my life?
Whew.
I know.
To start an instrument?
I have a guitar behind me. I'm just really bad at it.
Okay. Well, nobody's bad at the guitar, not at all. But my suggestion always, because kids really don't want to play one note on the instrument when they first learn it. They don't want to go home and just play and then again. Whether they know fingerings or notes or anything at all, my recommendation is turn on the radio or the songs that you love and try to find sounds that sound the same and try to make the noises that sound the same and have fun with the stuff you like. Always. Yeah. So you grab that guitar right there, Amanda, and turn on your favorite stuff and try to find some chords and some notes and have fun with it. The worst thing possible ever is to get frustrated and not enjoy it and then not want to do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say I did pick up the ukulele during the pandemic. And like you said, that, because my hands are small, felt easier to me and was so fun. So I didn't have time over the summer, but I'm gonna buy myself a ukulele instead of using a friend's and do exactly what you're talking about. Just listen and like try to
listen, play, and certainly, you know, don't leave out the formal lesson and practice part. But when you're getting started, you want to be, you know, you want to have fun with it too. You want to hear some stuff. You want to be playing right from the get-go. So.
Yeah. Well, Ian, I adore talking to you so much, and I'm so excited for the students that get to work with you, because your energy and your enthusiasm is completely infectious, and I know that they feel it too, because I watched how they respond to you. I've seen how they respond to you. So thank you for being an awesome teacher and for, you know, bringing really like incredible artistry and music into the students of our region's lives. We're really grateful for that.
Well, thank you for having me. This is fantastic. I love what you're doing for the artists and musicians in the Upper Valley. So keep what you're doing. And I hope we all get to see each other again soon.
Thanks, brother. And thank you for watching Spark, the Upper Valley's new arts and culture program here on CATV. Don't forget to subscribe to CATV's YouTube channel, where you can learn much more about each of our guests by looking at their websites as listed in the episode descriptions. And again, you can visit catv8.org to sign up for CATV's email list, to find links to our new podcast and the YouTube channel. And you can connect with us by emailing spark@catv8.org. Thank you so much for watching Spark.